I want to talk about a topic I think that's really important as we are building our business and we are putting ourselves in a position to create the success that we're looking for. There's a certain amount of chaos that is going to ensue in our lives as we start to move forward. And whether it's increased or decreased is hard to tell. There's a level of chaos in our lives regardless. But if we think logically, as we add more relationships, more people, more responsibility, the incidence and the probability of chaos goes up. So for me, I'm pretty pragmatic and straightforward, and different people have different thoughts. I don't really think that as somebody builds their business or different things happen that so much there's a force against them, as much so that there's just the increased probability of different things happening. If you only hang out and talk to 3 people, you're going to have a certain amount of things happen. If you talk and hang out with hundreds of people, you are going to have an infinitely bigger pool and chances of random chance of things happening, which for the point of this talk is going to massively increase the amount of chaos in your life. As you are looking to strive to become better, improve your relationships, sponsor more people, build a bigger business team, have more sales, have more clients, you're looking to take on more responsibility, you're looking to move into higher levels of leadership, the amount of chaos is going to increase. So the question is, in the chaos of our life and the uncontrollables, the tragedies, the things that happen, the dysfunctions of our family and the different consequences of those different things, maybe the consequences of our own bad responses in the past. If we look at all of this, how do we find calm in that chaos? How do we find a place of centeredness? For myself, I have really had a struggle with that. I am not really personally a super emotionally consistent person. There's seasons of my life where I feel like I could climb Mount Everest with no oxygen mask or training. And there are seasons of my life where I wonder and question if I could do anything. So I'm somebody that is not someone that naturally has mastered their emotions. But through years of being so weak at it, I've had to master my emotions and find calm in this chaos for myself to be able to continue to perform and to flourish and prosper. Because there's a difference for me between producing in the business and building a fulfilling life. These two things, because you can be super productive. I mean, you can build a huge Amway business and be really, really successful. And at the same time, everything in your life can fall apart. I mean, you can look at top athletes, top artists. You can look at some of the most quote unquote successful people on one axis, on one area of their life, business or finance or something, and see every other part of their life in shambles. So for me to be able to simultaneously, the best that I can, and by no means being perfect. One of the things when you talk about topics like this, it's very easy for people to say, well, you're not perfect. For sure. I don't want to act like I'm some type of guru on a hill here and I have everything all together. But some things I've done to cause calm is, first of all, number one, you need to create space for that. I need to create space in my life. The reality is there is a never-ending onslaught of challenges and people and texts and questions and business and people to follow up with and contacts to book and sales to make and books to read and things to listen to and voicemails to check and play huddle plays and things to develop and new systems to build and new GSR academies to. There is an infinite amount of stuff. And anyone that is able to successfully run a business and build a high level of success, from what I've seen, is able to compartmentalize. I remember having lunch with Vinny pretty recently, and I love being able to go to lunch with Vinny, and it's one of my most special relationships with Vinny, being partners and friends and being a father figure in my life for 18 years. He talked about how at his furniture store, one of the things he learned in business was at the end of the day, you just were done and you just moved on. You didn't think about it. You didn't worry about it. You didn't worry about the invoices, the challenges. Just you checked out of the problems and you moved into the next phase of your day. And I think a lot of people have maybe lost track of it being an Amway and having an Amway business. I want excellence and I want to be clear. Let me give you an open secret. My goal is to be the biggest leg of the Papalardo family. Now, I got a lot of work to do. The Moretta team's doing hundreds of meet and greets per week, but I got several decades to catch up. So that's my goal. I don't need to be number one to fulfill myself, but my goal is to be excellent. My goal is to have a business, to be one of the biggest businesses one day. But I do not get and allow my desire for achievement to overshadow my responsibilities in my life. I need to keep myself healthy. So I have, number one, created spaces for this. I have intentional time that I'm with my young kids. I look back and I think to myself, if I zoom out 30 years from now, what are the things I'm going to regret? Well, if I miss all my time with the kids, but I went Crown Ambassador, I would regret some of that. Now, my goal is to do both. So how do I do both? I am intentional. I don't try to eat an elephant in one day and try to get everything done in one day and think that I can just have a sprint to the goal. I understand that this is a lifelong marathon of consistent efforts. So I make space in my day. For me, I have to go running. Running for me is my meditation. It's my time alone. It's my time to sort through my thoughts. It's my time to burn off my excess energy in a healthy manner. That is something for me that gives me calm, physical activity. And it's been proven that by contracting your muscles, your body releases natural endorphins and even molecules that they've found are natural antidepressants that cause a higher level of resilience. It's one of the most exciting findings in science in the last 10 or 20 years, depending on your opinion on it. So for me, creating calm requires taking care of my body and taking care of myself, having alone time, reading, putting time aside for social activities, having time away from the kids and away from Callan, to be able to spend time in relationship, with different people, making time for our marriage, making time for each other, not coming and using, it's really leaving margin, I think would be a good way to say it. If we say, okay, I have 10 hours and you fill all those 10 hours and really you say, I'm going to try to fit 11 hours of activity into these 10 hours, there's no margin. There's no ability to have extra time to sit. There's no thinking. There's no consideration. Really, in our calendars and our lives and our mindsets, we need to leave margin to be able to make sure we account for unforeseen circumstances and unforeseen sunsets and beautiful things in our life. And some days you're going to be running. You're going to be making things happen, doing 100 appointments. But I think it's important that you also make sure that some days you don't. And some days you are putting yourself in a position that you don't have all that to do. If we burn ourselves out and we just go at a level that we can't sustain permanently, that has an adverse effect on our different relationships, we're not going to get to the goal. Now, in the same token, most people do not struggle from this. Most people struggle from not being ambitious enough, not working enough towards their goals. Not that I'm saying that I'm judging people's level of ambition, but I'm saying the level of goal you have versus your level of effort. Because everyone needs to describe and decide the kind of life they want to live. I don't think anybody should ever put down and look down on someone that decides they want and enjoys a simple life. We all need to choose our life. We need to choose where we go. The amount of money you make and the amount of success, quote unquote, you have, and that is not what defines you as a person. Maybe that's a goal you have. It's a goal of mine. Like I said, I want to be one of the biggest people ever in the business. That's my goal. That's my intention. But that doesn't mean that I need that to validate who I am. Finding calm in the chaos is going to require you to leave margin. It's to have certain activities, particularly physical probably, having time to meditate, organize your thoughts, have time for relationship. And don't forget, we only have this moment. You don't have the future. The future's an idea. Holding on to the past is a rerun of something that's not happening. We only got this moment, me and you. You don't have anything else. So let's make sure that on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, while we are intentional and ambitious and focused on accomplishing our goals, we enjoy and leave margin to smell the flowers or to stop at that restaurant or to grab a cup of coffee or to call that friend that's important to us. I love you.